Thanks for joining us on Joy Live. Today we'll be discussing parenting. Raising children comes with an entirely new set of challenges and opportunities, from the ever-present influence of social media to the question of screen time. Well, to that question, a lot of people have asked themselves. Online safety, values, communication. The digital age is obviously reshaping families, the life as we know it. To help us unpack this important conversation, I'm joined by three incredible voices. For followers of the show, you already know, each time when we have to sit down and talk about those very important issues about our lives, I bring about this team. Chuks Emefiele, joining us from the UK, is a relationship family therapist based in the United Kingdom. He's bringing a global perspective on family dynamics in this fast-paced digital world. Uche Krospo Ogbuta, a social commentator and coach who constantly interrogates the cultural and societal shifts shaping how families thrive and struggle today, would be part of our conversation. And our own coach Zazie, that's Coach Sarah Wolu Akibe, a marriage and relationship counselor with years of experience helping couples and parents navigate real-life challenges, is also going to be part of here, where we discuss building healthy homes. Together, we would examine how families can find balance, preserve values, and raise children who are grounded even in the age of smartphones and social media. So let's start with you and your overview. There's that balance that's necessary. Should parents, how much screen time is enough screen time? At what age should they even be exposed to social media? So many questions about. Well, first of all, what do you think about these contemporary style of parenting that we are facing now?
Yeah, I know. Hi everyone to my squad. My squad. Yeah, I'm so excited to be here. I needed that break actually, and of course I'm happy to be back.
And I'm happy you're back.
Yeah, there's actually a study that says that parents should try as much as possible to not even expose children to screen time, especially between the age from 0 to about 3 years. Some of them will say from 0 to 2 years. But in all honesty, the reverse is exactly what we are seeing. And one of the reasons why they speak to these things is because of they want to have a solid brain development. They want the children to learn from their environment, know things from the environment, and that is you setting the pace and setting the tone for the child to grow appropriately. And that's why you have to be involved in the growing up and the nurturing and caregiving of that baby. But we see the opposite today. For parents to get to catch a breather or to do things, they just yank the baby into their high chairs and then they put them right in front of the screen just so that they can have their own time and rest. And the children are busy watching. You see the ABC, you see the animals they are learning from and everything. This is exactly what is going on. But there are studies actually that says no, this is not proper, especially from 0 to that age, so they can develop properly. Another thing is because of the parenting styles. We have a lot of parenting styles these days. And one of the ones that people have been fighting is the whole gentle parenting
Gentle
thing,
parenting.
the whole gentle parenting thing. For us Africans, listen, gentle parenting ain't working.
Not
For
at
we
all.
Africans, gentle parenting ain't working. And in all honesty, there should be a good balance. Even if you are trying to use the whole gentle parenting thing for your kids, it's important that there is a balance. There is a place. Listen, there is a thin line between gentle parenting and lazy parenting. There is a thin line between those two.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do not pay close attention, you will end up being a lazy parent because you're trying to gentle parent your children. There are different types. We have different styles of parenting. There are different parenting styles these days that we have. And one of the best form, if you go online, you're going to see a couple of them, loads and loads of types of parenting styles that we have out there. But one of the parenting style that I would tell people over and over again is the one that we call the authoritative parenting. The authoritative parenting is like the well-balanced one. And what does authoritative parenting mean? It means that the children have their autonomy or their agency, but you also are very much involved and you help them
Exactly.
strike the balance. You do not allow them make decisions totally and completely. No, you sit down with them, have a conversation with them, understand why they are thinking the way they are thinking, and then you guide them. Because as a parent, we are supposed to mold the children, mentor them, and also, guide them. We raise them right. So you cannot just allow them raise themselves. That's exactly what we are even seeing in our society today. That
Exactly.
children are raising themselves, and that is actually a menace to the society. So
Coach
yes,
Zazie, Coach
authoritative
Zazie,
parenting. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Thank you for giving us this quick background. But I've just been told that the gentlemen are also have also are also on this call. So let me not do the feminist thing here. They will come after me.
Absolutely. Thank you. Let me give it
so
to them.
so let's have that. Let me get to them and hear their thoughts this evening. Hello, Uche.
Yeah, hello and good evening, Dr. Joy.
Hi, the Kong Dynasty. I just saw you online earlier, a couple of minutes ago. I was worried you have time. You will not have time to come here now, but it's good to know you had time for us. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Right, Uche. I apologize. Emefele, Chooks, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Oh, fantastic. So let's, you're looking very Niger Delta this evening. So let's get straight to it. You know, we didn't complete the conversation. We didn't exhaust a lot of things we're supposed to last time. And I'm happy that Coach Zazie, as usual, is coming with that that energy, discussing gentle parenting and the diverse parenting styles that we have now. But before I circle back to her. What do you think about this gentle parenting? I remember last time you said the family, the entire community raised you, where everyone had had unfettered access to, hitting you if you were going wrong, and your parents didn't even bat an eyelid. So, gentle parenting, that seems to be new, and it has come to stay. What do you think?
Unfortunately, we tend to keep borrowing and borrowing from different pages and chapters that parents don't even know what to do these days. I will always speak about my upbringing. About this time when I was growing up, this is when you sit with your parents in the evening, and parents will be telling you tales by moonlight, stories about the animal kingdom, trying to teach you good morals, good character, how to be kind, compassionate, how to be a good person. But we've lost it now. Those things are not there.
Yeah.
Just like Osama said, what you have now is parents just wanting to do what they want to do, and they just put the kids in front of YouTube channel. And you now see 2-year-old is able to just use the finger and go through to a YouTube program, and it's just listening and just smiling and playing. But that is the type of parenting we have these days. So we don't have this one-to-one parenting anymore in the digital age. Kids are just learning online, and this is very detrimental to us as Africans. Yes.
Uche, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think maybe because we are all Nigerians, we share the same perspective. My take on the gentle parenting is it's not working, especially when we speak from this society where the ills are greater than the good things happening to the children. I think a little bit of being an authoritarian as a parent is what is required because the external influence is greater than the internal influence. And the things out there, we have a lot more things not working than the things that are actually working. So if we go with gentle parenting, it means you run the risk of having your children just fall for anything. And I don't think we want that in recent times. So I think a little bit of high-handedness, not high-handedness, but a little bit of being a little bit stricter than what is common or what is found out there as per gentle parenting, probably that is used in the West, where Oh, mommy, I don't want this. Okay, Johnny, it's all right, Johnny.
I mean, we've seen several skits about it. Africans are going livid when you see children, become unruly, and the parents are very gentle and they're okay. We get your thoughts. We understand where this is coming from. I get it.
So I think in this part of the world, we do not need you can find ways of communicating with your children, but then again, you need to actually have ways that suits the kind of culture or the society you live in. And that culture or society is what decides the method of parenting. Because if we must parent while living in Nigeria, then we must have a voice stronger than the voice of the society. And the society out there, we all know the typical Nigerian society. So we just want to raise children who will be able to have a mentality that carries them through such society. So that's my take. I do not endorse gentle parenting in this part of the world, but in the Mephiles environment, okay.
Or
It's
Coach
on
Sassy.
the
But
mommy, I don't like you. Okay, Johnny, it's okay. But over here in
express.
Nigeria, I think I do a little manual reset. So that will
Okay.
be my take.
Let me circle back. Let me circle back to Coach Sazi. I mean, you had gotten the conversation to discussing authoritative parenting, and I'm very interested. I want to know what the difference is, because sometimes when you hear a lot of things that happen and they tell you, oh my goodness, he's only expressing his feelings and all of that. I mean, you want a balance. You don't want a child being raised in a toxic, scary environment where he's unsure of what he's doing right or wrong. He feels like the parents would always come after him. And I stumbled on an article where it also talked about the ills and the danger of authoritative parenting, where you enforce your feelings on a child. But where do we strike that balance?
Thank you very much, Dr. Joy. Now, authoritative parenting is not the same as authoritarian parenting. They are two different things. Now, for the four basic parenting styles that we have out there, we have authoritarian parenting, we have authoritative parenting, we have permissive parenting, and we also have uninvolved or the neglectful parenting. Let's not get it twisted. Now, we are speaking to the one that is quite balanced, and the one that is quite balanced is the authoritative parenting. Now, the authoritative parenting is balanced because it requires, it is demanding, and it is responsive at the same time. Are you seeing where the balance comes in? It requires that you listen to the children and you also instruct them. It requires that even before discipline is met out, you have a conversation. Then a child needs to know why they are being disciplined, right? It's not like, oh, you want to discipline a child, and sometimes the children don't even know why you discipline them, because from their lenses, they do not see what they have done as wrong. So you need to have that conversation before you discipline a child. Let them know. Before you do anything at all around them, they should have a conversation. Why? Children are also stakeholders in the family. They are not just onlookers. They are not passerbys. They are stakeholders in the family. So we need authoritative parenting, where even when they want to cross the line, you set a clear boundary. Children should know when it is screen time and when it is study time. There is time for everything. So if you do not set clear boundary, whether we like it or not, it is also in the nature of humans to go across those boundaries.
Absolutely.
If you do not set the boundary. So you must, as a parent, you must be fully involved. And for you to be an authoritative parent, it means that you are an involved parent. It means that you are a hands-on parent. It means that you are not an absentee parent. You do not give time to just running on shift, making money, and giving them in the care of nannies, leaving them in the care of domestic workers that will do whatever they think is proper for the children. You have to be a hands-on present father and hands-on present mother at the same time, because we are raising them for the society at large. So yes, authoritative parenting is very balanced, because it requires the demand and also the responsiveness that comes with it. And when we are speaking to screen time, as much as you are setting the boundaries, they should know why those boundaries are important. For instance, in my home, I have twin daughters, two beautiful, the most adorable twin girls in the world. Anybody can argue with themselves, right? But then again, you see, my daughters, they have their boundaries. Let me tell you the way it is, very typical in my home. When they are back from school, I'm telling you, by the time they have just a little rest of 30 minutes, they are going straight to their study. Do you know why? Their school is giving them lots of assignments to do to hand in that day against the next day. Sometimes they are reading for a major test the next day. And they also are enrolled in lessons. They have extramural lessons to attend to as well. So what do? We structure the timetable in a way that after their 30-minute rest, they go straight to the reading corner and they do their study, ensure they meet the target for the day, because we have target for every day. The moment they are done with their target, then they can have their iPads or they can have screen time. Guess what, Dr. Joy? Before they are done, they have maybe barely 1 hour to bedtime, or they have maybe 1 hour 30 minutes to bedtime, and they can use that window to at least flex their muscles, enjoy their relaxation, and connect with us, their parents, because we are also involved. Their dad sometimes is teaching them math, sometimes I'm teaching them, I'm also guiding. We are just fully involved. And when it is weekend, how do we give back to them? On Fridays, we call it movie night. Right? At least let's sit down as a family and have movie night. And then these children are having fun. We are using popcorn, we're using biscuit, we're using drinks. We're connecting and we're laughing. That's how we reward them. And sometimes, not all the time, we also put in some incentives here and there. It should not be a constant, because when children get used to incentives, they might now come with an entitlement mentality that for me to do this, you have to give me this. No, I'm saying sometimes to encourage them, you come with little incentives here and there, and it's not necessarily money. It could be you giving them a big hug. It could be you giving them extra time to spend on screen. But all these things has to be fully regulated by the parents.
Exactly. I like what you said, and I want to ask Coach Sazi and Uche, or rather, I'm just mixing it up. I want to ask Emefiele and Uche this question. I can already tell what the response will be, but Emefiele, what do you think about spanking? It worked for us. I mean, you knew not to do certain things because you know your parents will go off on you, and that's one of the things we're seeing in what we call this digital parenting, or parenting in this digital age. What are your thoughts?
Well, I'm a Christian. The Bible says, "Spare the rod and spare the child." Right?
I could almost predict your response.
Of course, I have to be who I am. My dad was a teacher. My dad was a disciplinarian, and that is the character that I carry forward today in my life. Okay, but there's something we call, being very overbearing when you want to discipline the child. It's not all the time you have to spank the child, because when the child knows that, oh, you're going to flog me, the child now begins to build resistance. So after all, I'm going to do it anyway. I know he's going to flog me. All right. So I do like spanking, yes, but not all the time, because kids can get used to being spanked and they develop and form resistance to spanking, and spanking doesn't mean discipline to them anymore. So I support that. But responsible spanking, don't hit the child in such a way that the child lands in a hospital. Mind where you touch the child. On the backside, a spank is not gonna bring the child down. Just a spank is good. Just to tell the child, or even on the back of the finger, like that. Just let the child know what you've done is wrong, is condemnable. We don't do this in this family. Thank you.
Uche?
I'm sure even how he describes spanking, that's not the way he was spanked.
I know.
Why? Because exactly, he's trying to
funkinize it.
How the spanking actually worked. So you see, the actual thing is, when we were getting spanked from I don't need to explain it. So I would say we just need to find better ways of doing the same things we do then. Just like Kosasi was saying, one of the parenting styles, the permissive parenting. If you choose to spank your child now, you begin to look like the odd one out, or the one who is abusive. So we must find new ways of doing old things. So whether or not we choose to want to spank now, just like Emefiele said, we now look for, let's make it moderate. I think growing up, our parents did not know what was moderate or high spanking. It's as the spirit leads.
As the
So
spirit
yeah,
leads. My
I'm a total support of the spanking.
I remember growing up, you just take away the broom and everything around your home when your mom is coming because she's just gonna look around. Sometimes it's her shoes.
That sometimes it's even as it could be anything. It could be tape rule. It could be an object is walking past. It could be the remote control. It could anything. So I just believe that in recent times we must now find new ways of doing same things.
Right.
So we are choosing to use the board. We just have to find other ways of doing it. But yes, if we take away spanking, then I think I'm lying to my identity. It is ingrained in me. If this will make me, if I can't do this and I have to live in the West, I think I have to find ways to live in Africa just so that I can implement
You'll be
this
able
side
to
of me.
implement that. I hope you don't
It
get
cannot
any.
stop.
I
It
hope you don't
cannot
get any
stop my
kind of high for or gratification
it
from it.
can't stop my own turn when I enjoy that business for when
Coach,
I will do my
Coach
own. So
Zazi,
it can't
Coach
get
Zazi, are you listening to him? This is not healthy.
I can hear what he's saying. But there's something I want to throw in here, Dr. Joy. One thing we need to understand is there is difference between discipline and punishment. Let us not even get it twisted. There is a clear boundary, a clear line between discipline and punishment. What's the difference? Discipline is a corrective measure. Is a corrective measure, but punishment is a destructive measure. They are not the same thing. Take your time and do the study. You understand what I'm talking
Does
about.
discipline entail spanking or some physical
Yes,
punishment?
yes. As a
Right.
matter of fact, discipline can involve that, but there is a required amount of it. When you discipline listen, even in the West where I live, here in the US, there are some states that encourage that. They don't necessarily frown against it, but where it becomes a problem is when you inflict injury, bodily harm to the
When you
child.
go overboard with it.
Exactly. That is where you have crossed the line. But for the little one, where you do on the backside or maybe on the palm a little. And another thing parents should be very weary of, when you discipline a child, as much as possible, don't do it when you are highly angry. Because when we are extremely hurt and angry, we might go overboard. We might cross the line. So try to let the tempers douse down, allow it to calm down, and then do it rationally. And if you do that, you will know how and where to stop. Very important. I believe that yes, a little spanking here and there is spices. Variety is the spice of life. We cannot just
Emefiele, see how we turned out. And our parents didn't hear from her when she said, do not discipline when you're really angry, with all the big terms she has used.
I was going to say this. You see, this is what I was speaking to. Now we are having to, linguistically differentiate punishment
And discipline.
Make sure you calm your emotion. Make sure you are calm with anger. That's because we are modern. That's because we are the today parents.
Yeah.
I don't know any parent that waited for when their anger dies down so that they can discipline or punishment. Discipline, they went hand in hand. Anyone you receive at that time, just
That's what
it
it is for
you are
you.
being punished for coming back home at 10 p.m. Just take the punishment. If you are being disciplined for taking meat from the pot, just take the discipline. We were just winging it, taking the anyhow they throw it. But you see, we are actually the upgrade to our parents. So now we
Right.
are trying to ways of doing the same things in the right way. But like I said, no matter the English Coach Sachs is going to speak here tonight, we cannot remove that spanking. I don't care how
Okay,
people
but let's get into perspective. I mean, Africans are known to be the most resilient. I mean, when we talk about even mental health issues, a lot of people would say yes, we norm ourselves, we are stronger, and all that. If you talk to Coach Zazi, I'm sure she's going to tell us how we have fundamental issues we have not addressed as Africans based on such spanking. Sometimes it obviously is overboard, but it it gets the work done. Unruly children would think twice before indulging in certain activities because they do not want that spanking. And I agree with Emefiele when he says that children often get used to it, and it's no longer, it doesn't have that effect that it should. But how do we balance it? You don't want your child growing up to write a tell all and tell you how you were toxic and you're a narcissist, or all these fancy words we use to describe a typical African home and an African parents. It was a very toxic home. It was very narcissistic, and it made me by ADHD and all these words we are beginning to hear all the time. So I'll just go to Coach Sarah, but I would like you to, while you're discussing, address the issue of the discipline that we always applaud Africans for wherever they go. Is it right to say it stems from the background we had?
Yeah, in all honesty, I would truly appreciate our parents for an amazing job they did. First of all, we need to know that Africans are resilient people, particularly Nigerians. Nigerians have been known to be very resilient. The giving up culture thing it's not in us. It's not engraved in our system. We hardly give up, right? And we want to push all the way. As a matter of fact, you get to hear in our local parlance, they say now who give up lose, right? That's how we say it in our local parlance, because we are dogged people. We want to get to the end of it because we love results. Now, this is it. I'm a Christian. The Bible says that foolishness dwells in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction will drive it away. Right? Now, when some people interpret this, so it's a rod of correction, so it has to be a whoop, it has to be a cable,
a literal rod.
Yes, true rod. It has to be twisted cables in one. When you hit one, you get three in one. In all honesty, I believe in spanking. I'll do it sometimes, but you need to balance these things out. Sometimes you spank the child. Sometimes sit down and have a conversation with the child. To be honest with you, I have twin daughters, but they are two different entities. One of them can tolerate even when you spank her, but she still feels disappointed in herself. The other one, you don't necessarily have to spank her, but the moment you sit down to have a conversation, she feels disappointed already in herself, and she's welling up and she's asking for forgiveness. I'm sorry I disappointed you. Do you get what I mean? So you can use different methods. You can spank, you can have conversation, you can use what we call denial method, where you deny them and deprive them some of the things that they like. You should know your children and know the things they like. Deny them that time. Sometimes you can take them away from screen time. Sometimes you don't let them have time to spend with their friends, hang out with their friends. You take it away. Those things that is very important to them, deny them those things. So they need to understand that, hey, number one, they cannot even figure you out as a parent. Imagine you are constantly spanking. They
know, they expect it.
Do you get? They'll start building up resilience for spanking. So you need to mix the methods so they can't even, my kids can't figure me out, and my husband as well. So we try to use different things, but things that are measurable, things that are within.
Coach Sassy, is it intentional? Well? Is it intentional when you said my husband as well? Meaning, if
the reason I said my husband as well is because you see, girls have a way of having their dads in their palm.
Right.
Daughters and fathers. So sometimes my husband is like, he holds back, but hey, listen, when he disciplines, he's like, oh my God, in fact, they are running all over the place. For that.
Well, I'm just happy. I'm just happy. You don't never mind. That will be misconstrued. but I understand what you mean, and it's very important, especially when it seems sometimes that young women, especially in Africa, it's like parenting comes upon you. It's not something you prepared for. In Africa, that is it. Unfortunately, while we have lost a bit of our tradition that we had loved, where we were a bit more communal, neighboring mothers would come help you with no thought it was an obligation for them. a young girl in our community has had a baby, they will hold your hand through the process and all that. We are losing that, unfortunately. So how do we ensure in our churches, in our mosques, in religious setting, in schools, that we raise another generation of young parents who do not necessarily leave the African culture, but modify it in such a way that it doesn't harm, it still provides that healthy, holistically healthy home for a child?
As a matter of fact, Dr. Joy, this is a very good question. We must learn how to find our tribe as parents. Find your tribe. Support can never be overemphasized. We must look for our tribe. And when I say find your tribe, find people of like mind. Find people that your values align with theirs. They could be black, white, pink, yellow. I really don't care about the skin. But the most important thing is these people align with your values when it comes to raising your children, right? So wherever you find yourself, it could be in the church community, it could be in your neighborhood where you live, it could be in school, it could be in any organization you belong to. But we must ensure that whatever we are handing down to our children, they know that this is the way and this is the pattern. When they grow up, they can make decisions for themselves. But I believe that when you raise a child a particular way, most often, I know that there are exceptions to the rule, right? But most often children align based on how they were raised, because environment has a high level of impact on the way people react and the way they were formed. So find your tribe, find people that you cannot live in isolation. First of all, humanity was not created for isolation. So you can't live in isolation. You can't think that, oh, I can do it all. Why do people go to school? Why do they take their children to school? Why do you go to church? Because there is something about coming together, synergizing, right? There are things you may not know that you will learn from a parent. There are things you may not know you might learn from a neighbor. But the most important thing, ensure that these people, their lifestyle also match your lifestyle. Because whether we like it or not, we might raise our children a certain way, but their association, their peer influence is also very high.
Absolutely.
So be very careful. So you need to be very careful with the kind of people that you are intentionally connecting with your children. Intentionality in parenting can never be overemphasized. You need to be in their lives and guide them as well. And of course, when they are little, there are certain things you can do, and that's why molding is very important when they are little. There is a particular age they will get to. What they will need is mentoring. Do you understand? That's what they will need. What they will need is guidance. That's what they will need. But ensure you play your role, do your due diligence, and then leave the rest, because at the end of the day, there is how much as a parent you can do. We don't have the superpowers. Yes, so just do the best you can so that you can go to bed and sleep with your conscience and your heart and know that, you know what, I poured into my children the right way, I impacted in them, and I'm not going to let society or anyone guilt trip me into believing that I did not play my role if they choose another path. But that is as much we can do as parents.
Now, we spoke about communal living before, how it helped parenting, like when I was growing up. One of the downsides of capitalism is individualism, all right? Because in the yesteryears, African communities were very communal. But now with capitalism, what is taught in capitalism is individualism.
Self, right.
And yes. So in this individualism, everybody is on his own. Let me tell you one thing. I was just on the phone not quite long, there's this woman in Kenya. She saw me on TikTok and she said, "Sir, I've been following you. Can I talk to you?" And I said, "Okay, fine." She has a son, a very handsome boy, 15-year-old. And she said to me, "Listen, I've got issues. My son, the father was never there, and the father passed on. And it's just me, him, and I'm trying to pay his tuition fees, everything. But my problem now is he's been influenced by social media, and now people have introduced him to porn." I said, "Okay, that's not a problem." So he got the son, and I spoke to the son. Very handsome guy. And I said to him, "Listen, from your story, I will help you, all right? Because you never, ever had your dad in your life. What I'm going to help you is you have to play your own part. There has to be this give and take. So if you don't give me back, I'm away. And he said, I have never had this opportunity in my life. I would take it with two hands. And I said, good. I said, okay, your tuition fees paid. Go to school. Now, there's a teacher in his school that every week, every Friday, Thursday, Friday, they must check in with me and I have to talk to him. I was telling him this evening, I said, listen, it's not just your education I'm after good character. So you
Right.
have to be empathetic, compassionate, you have to be supportive, give your classmates, your teachers all the support. I said, I want all round development for you. All right? That is what I am doing with him right now. There are so many families that are suffering this same problems. Now, but unfortunately, one thing I'm going to drop here is this. When I was growing up, when I said they would tell you stories that will build, good morals and everything, good
Exactly.
character, be truthful, be honest, be helpful. But your parents will not be telling you these stories and they are doing something different. They were
Right.
doing the
So they're
right things. You could see
modeling.
them. So they
Right.
were modeling those virtues. All right. But now what's going on? You cannot tell your child not to be online when you don't have discipline, online discipline. You are on Facebook, you're on TikTok for 7, 8, 9 hours. So that's the behavior you're modeling. Your kids will also be on their phone and they'll be doing what you're doing. But this is not the parenting that we have. That we have Facebook parents, TikTok parents, Instagram parents, and name all the other social media platforms. This is what is going on. When you tell the kid, no, you can't be online, but you are online 10 hours.
Okay.
What kind of behavior
We
model?
really have run out of time, Emefiele. Let me quickly get to Uche. Uche.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm
Oh,
here.
fantastic. So in the final analysis, looking ahead now, which kind of adult, or rather, what kind of adults do you think today's digitally immense children would become in a couple of years? And if they have to be parents, does it concern you?
Yes, it does, because at the end of the day, what we are seeing is we're about to have parents who become very emotionally unstable because they were raised in homes where there was either little or no emotional regulation. We're about to see the rise of parents who have very poor social skills. We're about to see parents who would think more like children raising other children. And it's quite disturbing because for you to be a parent, you must have a strong mentality. Whether you choose to use any of the four kinds of parenting, you must have a clear idea of what you want to do and what you want to achieve. And a lot of times when we look at the children of today, when you ask the kids of today, what do you want to become? You realize we are saying, I want to be a YouTube star, I want to be a streamer. This tells you the shift in the type of parenting according to the times. So when I look at parents or people who still are attached to the parenting of old, I would say there is a lot of work to be done. Because guess what? The way we were raised as Africans, it has its upside and it has its downside. Our ability to be resilient, go through hardship and struggle, yes, it's good for tough times. But then again, in good times, we do not know how to carry ourselves, basically, because where things are working, your hustle spirit is still very active, and that can be problematic. But when we see kids of these days, or when we see kids of recent times, or the young men who are growing up and the young women, we are seeing people who are built around instant gratification. We are
Exactly.
seeing people who do not know the power of no. We are seeing people who do not understand how to sacrifice their own desires for greater good. So by the time you analyze these things and you begin to see that these are the parents that are up and coming, that tells you the quality of children we're about to experience. So people like Coach Sazi, for I don't think she has to really do a lot of work because she needs to prepare her kids because they
Exactly.
might have to come in contact with the children who are raised by these other people who center their lives around the soft parenting, social media, and people who believe whatever society says is what they will do. You understand?
Exactly.
We still have that problem because what is legal is not always right. But then
Exactly.
again,
You know,
you
and that concerns me. I wish we could continue this conversation, but we really have run out of time. It concerns me. You and I may be doing our best in parenting our children, but how do we also protect these children from the others who would now be exposed to all sorts of parenting styles, and they come back, they come and interact with them with all this sense of entitlement that we often see. The squad, we need to continue this conversation the next time because there's still so much to discuss and we haven't even scratched it. Coach Sarah Akiwe,
Hi, Dr. Joy.
final analysis.
Okay, one thing I want to say is for every action, there are consequences, right? It's very important. There are logical consequences and there are natural consequences. Let us not forget. And the logical ones are the ones that you prefer as a parent. Oh, I'm withdrawing things from you. Oh, I'm going to spank you. Oh, I'm going to, deprive you from certain things. Oh, I'm going to have a conversation with you, depending on, the gravity of the offense. But you see, the natural one, sometimes those ones are also very good.
Right.
For instance, we'll talk about the natural consequence. You're going to the park and you tell everybody, carry a bottle of water because it's going to be hot today. And then one of them chooses to forget or chooses not to carry. When we get to the park, you are not sharing anybody's water with them. By the time you experience thirst, next time you understand that there are natural consequences for not doing the right thing.
Right.
So I'm saying to us that there are logical consequences, which you are the one that will bring it in, and there are natural consequences as well. But in all that we do, let us ensure that it is our duty as parents to be in the lives of our children and guide them, direct them, because hey, they are our next generation. What are we handing down?
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for being part of today's show. We obviously have to discuss more on this topic. Today, we were thinking we would have exhausted it, but obviously not. We would discuss after that and see how we will continue this conversation. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Joy.
Thank you, Dr. Joy.
And that's it for... thank you, Uche. That's it for today's edition. I hope you had a wonderful time. I had learned a thing or two. We would return next time.